Got a little project I'm working on for my JP20 here. I bought some Jeep cables from JeepCables.com. My 92YJ. I went with 4 gauge because I don't want to go any bigger. I don't really need it. I got a Ramsey winch here. I'm not going to really run because I'm going off-roading with the Jeep, which is kind of crazy, but it's alright. I might do some light trails, but all these cables are pretty old. I'll take them apart. I changed the battery terminals and they look pretty corroded in here, so I found this company. Everything's marked. This one says battery positive. And then PDC is Power Distribution Center, I believe. It's right here. So I'm removing 2 of these fuses here. All these cables down here are getting replaced. They're pretty old. So the instructions you can download online here, but take these 2 out and replace it with a 1 single fuse. Right here. Take them out. Be done with it. First one to replace right here, it says engine block on here to the battery. Engine block 1 right down there. And clean up a little bit, attach it, and go on to the next one. Ran into my first problem, but not really a problem, but that bolt right there was spinning out of the block there, so twisting my wires up. So basically I took off around the end there. Looks like it's a 3/16 16 point and a 13mm socket for rear. I just use this 13mm here, little socket, tighten it down. Now it's loose. Little PB blaster and a little heat and got it right off. So here's the factory terminal versus the new one. The old one's really stiff. The new one, the 4 gauge, really flexible, which is probably a good thing. So this one hard to bend. New style, very flexible, a lot nicer. Here's another comparison. This is the battery negative to the firewall. Here's a factory to the left, new 4 gauge to the right. Big difference. So this is another reason why you upgrade to Jeep cables right here. This is corrosion. It's all copper from the factory. I'm pretty sure a lot of the cables are like that. I know when I took my battery terminal off right here, replaced with new lugs, it was like that almost halfway down. So I want to cut that apart when I get it off and see how much corrosion's on it. You just can see how much better they are. Maybe it shortens the starting up time. I have a video of that where I started it up before I changed cables. I'm gonna do one after. This is the battery cable off the starter here. See a little corrosion right there. I mean, this is inside of that all the way down. So that's a good reason to upgrade the cables. See all that? It's hard to show holding one hand, but you can see it. Alright, so I got ground strap to the engine block. Got the power cable to the battery also from the starter all the way down there. Next step, this right here. This is attached to this cable here. Took 2 nuts off and it kind of wiggled it and broke it right off, and I trimmed it up. This will attach here. This you throw away. You'll have a cable going from your block here to your fuse, and then from the fuse to your alternator. That's why these 2 are out. You don't have to use these fuses no more. This replaces that right there. Also, to make it easier to access these 2 posts right here, when you take your cover off, this thing slides in. There's 2 lockers right here for your fuse box. Okay, you push that in here and right here, slide it out. And there's a cover right here. This will probably be useless after I'm done with it. Just come off, be done. Because I have 1 battery going to the positive, 1 to the fuse, and a fuse to the alternator. I'm on the alternator wire now. Just come off the alternator down there, right about there. It's a 10mm socket. Take the nut off the post, and to get this off, there's another nut down there. It's 12mm. Doesn't quite fit. There's a 4 gauge. So I'm going to trim it up a little bit. You can trim this if you wanted to, but this would be easier. Just take this off, trim the plastic. bolt it back on. So what I'm doing was trimming off the edges over there on the bottom here. Just kind of bumped out. Grind this down with my die grinder. It's hitting at the bottom, can't get in all the way, so I just kind of trimmed the edges off and it fits well now. A quick note on that shield right here, you can't leave that off. You have to trim it up. So if you don't have any tools, just buy a little hacksaw or something, hack it up to where you can fit it on there, because if you don't install the shield on there, it'll cause a dead short. So make sure you cut it, install it. Alright, here's the final overview of the installed Jeep cables. Everything's marked. This is the fuse that goes in the alternator that replaces the 2 fuses in here. I also installed an amp, so I put distribution blocks here and also have other accessories installed in there. I got my rear fog lights attached to that, and I'll have some other accessories. I didn't want to have a bunch of cables coming off of here. It's easier to make it come off there. So there you go. Here's a negative cable going to the head. You got one to the block to the firewall right there. The starter down there, you can see the red wire, and you got the alternator to the fuse right there. Simple install, pretty easy, very affordable. I'll do a side-by-side comparison of starting before and after.